Hello and welcome to the Final Whistle. I'm Steve Forbes, and this evening Southampton played out a 1-1 draw with Arsenal at the Emirates to move up to third in the Premier League table. Here to dissect all the action with me is Dean Hammond and Adam Leach. Gentlemen, did you enjoy the game? Adam, let's come to you first. What did you make of it overall?
Yeah, I mean, it was a decent game without being a classic. I think you come away, if you're Saints, a bit disappointed. Only getting a point from the match. But I also feel like in the wider context, that's a sign of how far Saints have come. They come away from Arsenal now a little bit gutted that they only got a point. There were opportunities there for more. I mean, I thought they played fantastically for most of the first half, certainly for half an hour of the first half. They were by far the better team. Second half, I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but they just didn't come out particularly fast at the start of the second half. Allowed Arsenal to grow into the game a little bit. But then once Arsenal went down to 10 men and Saints had half an hour against a 10-man Arsenal, you really felt the tide would turn. Saints would eventually get a goal and finally get that league win at Arsenal for the first time in a long time. But unfortunately, it just wasn't quite to be. Ralph made a couple of changes. The Redmond one, I think Redmond did well. The Gineppo one just didn't really work, unfortunately. Gineppo just didn't come on and have much of an impact. And in the end, as I say, disappointing to only get a point, but you have to hold your hands up and say, if you're at a point now where you're really disappointed getting a point at Arsenal, then things are going pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of positivity before the game, a lot of people expecting a win. But Dean, are you satisfied with a point away at Arsenal?
Yeah, like Adam said, if you go to Arsenal, if you go to the Emirates and you get a point, then it's an excellent result. There will be some frustration because obviously Southampton were in the lead and in full control, and first half were excellent. If honest, like Adam mentioned, for half an hour they embarrassed Arsenal. You know, with the ball, they kept possession. They were allowing players they were sucking Arsenal players in just to play around them. It was a joy to watch, to be honest. In terms of possession football, it wasn't, there wasn't many clear-cut chances. An excellent goal from Theo Walcott, which was a good pass from Che Adams, so that was good to see. And then, like Adam mentioned there, I think it just didn't come out second half for the first 10 minutes. And in all honesty, I've been there as a player. You kind of unconsciously just think it's too easy. You kind of relax and think, we're in full control here. Arsenal are not going to get back into the game. We're going to win 1-2, 3-0, and this will be a comfortable 3 points for us. And Arsenal just stepped up a little gear for that 15 minutes and got a goal at the right time. And then obviously with the sending off, it just changed it. So there will be some frustrations, but first half, Southampton were brilliant. Really, really good. Patient, controlled build-up, scored an excellent goal. There will just be that little disappointment that they could have potentially won the game.
Yeah, well, you mentioned it there, Dean. The slight fairy tale script was written. Adam, it had to be Theo, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely perfect, Steve. Perfect, really. And a really great finish as well. I think that's one thing. If you were going to be ultra critical about Theo's career, which I think is a great career, so I'm not seeking to do that really. But I mean, if you were, you would say he probably hasn't scored as many goals as he should have done. Because when he's got into those sort of positions, he probably hasn't put as many away as he should. Perhaps occasionally a bit of a lack of composure, but not there. I mean, that is clinical stuff. I mean, it was a really great build-up. Theo's through, great finish, and he definitely looked like he enjoyed it as well. I think, maybe a little bit of frustration there for the way his time at Arsenal kind of came out in that celebration because he wasn't holding back, but it was a great moment for him and a great moment for Saints as well.
Yeah, definitely. And Dean, you mentioned previously about the pass from Che Adams. We talked in the pre-match show about his qualities. Was that a perfect example of those?
It certainly was. A really, really good assist from Che. He came short for the ball, got a little bit lucky with a ricochet, but he earned his luck by trying to come into that position and being brave and getting on the ball, and just a really, really good pass, a really well-weighted pass as well. So an excellent assist for Shane. I think he held the ball up very well tonight. He uses his body so well. He's getting stronger all the time. So, he had an effect in that first half. And it's brilliant to be able to in his first half, Southampton were going long sometimes, and for him to be able to hold the ball up and then the other players to catch up and join in is such a positive and such a quality of his. So a really, really good pass for Theo, and like Adam said, a really, really good finish from Theo.
Yeah, also, as Adam said, he didn't hold back on the celebrations. Dean, that's something you know a little bit about, right? Against your former club?
I was waiting for that to come up, I must admit. It's an emotional game. It's a reaction, and Theo probably, it just happened. I don't think he would have planned it. I don't think he'd be thinking, if I score, I'm going to over-celebrate. He's just enjoying scoring goals again. And to be honest, first half, I thought Theo was fantastic, not just with the ball, but without the ball. He had lots of energy. He looks like he's born again. He looks like he's happy. He's fit and strong, and I think he's enjoying playing for Southampton. So why not allow him to celebrate? Look, there's no fans in the ground. He's not going to annoy anyone. Yes, there'd potentially be a reaction on social media and things like that. But no, a really, really good finish. And I'm really enjoying watching Theo play at the moment.
Yeah, well, we're having some reaction on the socials from fans who are getting in touch with us. Luis Felipe dos Santos says 15 minutes to the second half cost us all 3 points. Disappointing, but still a great performance from the Saints. Also, Martin Lovell says a point at Arsenal before the game. Yes, please. He was taking that one. And Dale Yarni says probably a fair result in the end. Second half seemed to be a bit relaxed, but the unbeaten run keeps going. Exactly. As we mentioned, it wasn't all 3 points. Arsenal did get that equaliser. Adam, was there any fault from Southampton there?
Yes, but it was more collective. I don't think you would single out anybody in particular. I mean, Arsenal did well, and they were on top in that period. You can't really argue that. Kind of, you sort of felt that a goal could come for them in that stage of the game. But when Saka's he's gone past 3 Saints players, and as soon as you see somebody sort of bounce through 3 players, your automatic reaction is somebody should have got the ball or brought him down at that stage. Then Aubameyang's obviously sort of ghosted off of the centre halves, which is again a little bit disappointing to see him in such space that he can bring the ball down and finish. But also you have to hold your hands up sometimes and say Arsenal have got really good players, and yeah, they haven't been playing well, but Saka and Aubameyang, they're 2 top quality players, and you know, they're going to create stuff. They're going to have moments, and again, a clinical finish there that kind of cost Saints in the end. So I think that Ralph will look at that, and there will be things that he'll be talking to them about, but I don't think there's any need to get too carried away. It wasn't like somebody messed up badly in the way that Gabriel did with that crazy second yellow card. So I don't think there'll be too much finger pointing from Saints.
Yeah, of course, you mentioned Saka's run. Dean, is that maybe where a professional foul should have been made? And how do you think Saints responded after conceding that goal?
Yeah, I think it's a situation where maybe when he's gone past one player, then to the third one, he needs to be brought down. That's just where it's kind of like you say, it's an intelligent foul, it's a professional foul, especially when it's near the box in a dangerous area. On the halfway line, no, you just have to let him go past you and recover. But near the box, when it's dangerous, you need to bring the player down, or at least make contact with him to knock him off balance and take him out of his flow. So, yeah, there's a disappointment there. But you have to give credit to Arsenal, a really, really good run and a really good finish. And I thought Southampton reacted okay to the goal, to be honest. It was the thing that they needed. It kind of give them a bit of a wake up, a bit of awareness that they're back in the game now, and this isn't going to be easy, and they need to kind of wake up a little bit. And they did. They responded well. The sending off obviously then had an effect on the game, and Southampton had lots of possession. But they moved the ball pretty well, getting the ball wide, trying to find gaps. And one thing I'd say and give credit to Arsenal today, even in the first half, they defended pretty well. They didn't give Southampton too many opportunities. Southampton passed the ball very, very well and moved the ball well, but there was no really clear-cut chances. So they looked like Arteta had worked on their shape in training and really drilled them. But no, Southampton reacted pretty well. And I think they probably should have maybe deserved to go on and win it.
Yeah, well, Adam, you mentioned about the silly Gabriel red card. I mean, that was nowhere near the box to be classed as an intelligent foul. Do you think it dramatically sort of changed the game after that?
Yeah, it did. I guess these little moments do change games. And when Dean was saying there about Saka going past 1, going past 2, maybe the third man brings him down. The third man was Oriol Romeu, which makes it almost miraculous that he wasn't brought down, because in those situations, Well, Romeu, like I'm not saying that as a slight. Romeu's superb at, knowing the right time to bring a player down, take your yellow card, walk away. Great moment. So it was a real surprise, really, when you look back that wasn't what occurred. But then Gabriel, if you're Arteta and you're struggling like they are, you're just. I mean, we said beforehand, there's ill discipline at Arsenal clearly at the moment, and that was a great example of it. I mean, just totally needless, stupid thing to do. Just no point in committing that foul when you're on a yellow card. There's only one way that's going to end. And yeah, I mean, he was trudging off, throwing his arms around like it was some great big surprise. I mean, how could you be surprised? You're going for that when you're already on a yellow card. And yeah, I mean, it obviously changed the game in that Arsenal really were then kind of setting their stall out for a point and then see if there was maybe something for them in a counter attack or a set piece, but they didn't have masses of ambition from that stage. And then it's a weird thing is there was a lot of expectation on Saints, and even though they did all right, I think that maybe weighed on them a little bit. You could almost sense somewhere around sort of between 75 and 80 minutes when they hadn't scored, Saints, there was almost a sense of perhaps a small amount of panic, a bit of anxiety maybe, that they felt like this is a great chance, come on, this is our chance to beat them, and kind of they got a few moments and a couple with Gineppo as well, and it just kind of was all a bit heavy touches and overrunning the ball and things like that, and it just didn't quite happen for them in those moments, but even so, a good point.
Yeah, well, the fans might not be as jubilant as they have been in previous weeks, but they're certainly content with the result. Having a few more reactions on the social medias or social media channels. We've got Daniel Taylor, who said he would have taken a point at the beginning, and when they equalised, he hoped he would get more questions in the end. Also, third in the league, I'm not complaining. Good effort from Saints, from Alex Brown on YouTube there. Dean, Saints could have potentially gone 2-1 up with Redmond hitting the bar. What did you make of that chance?
Yeah, a really good chance. It was a really good move, actually. Southampton were very, very patient within that last 25 minutes, having to move the ball from side to side, switching play, trying not to force it. And it was just an excellent pass by Ramiro, with his left foot as well. Just to drift it over the top, perfectly weighted pass for Redmond's really, really good run. He ran across the line and kind of curved his run and delayed his run. And if anything, he got too good a contact on it. If he'd scuffed it and kind of touched it a little bit less, it probably would have gone in. So, no, a really good opportunity, but not an easy opportunity because he's stretching, but a good move. And they were the kind of, like Adam mentioned there, the kind of moments that Southampton had second half where they were getting into good areas, good situations. They couldn't quite find that final pass or the final delivery or the final shot, but that was a good opportunity and a good play by Southampton, and just unfortunate.
Yeah, Adam, as the fans have said, in the grand scheme of things, they're happy with the point. How do you make, or what do you make of that point in the wider scheme of things going into future fixtures now?
Yeah, I mean, you sometimes you just got to pack up when you're on the road, pack up the coach, get on it, go home with a point, and just say, okay, fine, we've got a point. At the end of the day, they haven't come away losing that game. Obviously, Arsenal hit the bar late on. They might have lost that game, but they've come away with a point. Yes, as we said, it's a little bit disappointing. It feels a little bit underwhelming in some ways, but it's still a point on the board. It's another step in the right direction, if you like. So, yeah, I mean, they're not going to win every game this season, obviously. But every game that you don't win, if you can still take something, then you're doing really well. You are doing very well. So better to be disappointed coming away with a point than disappointed coming away having lost a game. So I think that's a mark of where Saints have come. And in the wider context, it's still Arsenal, and they've still got top quality players, as we saw with that moment where they produced their goal. And they're going to do that to teams. Arsenal are not going to finish the season in 15th. They are going to rally at some stage. They're going to beat a lot of teams still because they've got good players. So Saints have gone there. Yes, chances to win. But with all due respect, even with Saints potentially going top of the table tonight, let's be honest, we're not classing Saints at this stage as a team who are genuinely trying to win the Premier League title here. So still coming away from that game with a point is really good. If you were Liverpool and you're genuine ambition is to win the league, then you might be a bit more gutted. But for Saints, this is still great. This is still a great season, and I think we have to keep that in mind when we look at the context of the result.
Yeah, of course. And as we saw on the Premier League table there, that point puts Saints in third on 23 points, 1 point below. 24 points, 1 point below Tottenham and Liverpool there. Dean, I guess if you can't win it, just don't lose it, right?
Exactly, and it's a good point at the Emirates against Arsenal, and another point to the tally that we spoke about before the game, and how many points the team would try and get before halfway through the season. So look, Saints tried to win it. That's the main thing. They tried to win the game. They put a really good, diligent performance in. First half they controlled the game. If you actually look at it and analyse the performance, apart from that 15 minutes at the beginning of the second half, Southampton were the better team away at Arsenal. No matter what form Arsenal are in or what position they are in the league, they're still a good team with quality players, like they showed with the goal. So if you can't win the game, definitely don't lose it. And they almost did at the end with the Rob Holding header that hit the bar, and then that would have been really disappointing. But you're picking a point up at Arsenal. If you analyse games in the blocks of three, they've gone away to Brighton and won. They've won at home against Sheffield United, and they've picked a point up against Arsenal. 3 games ago, if you said you're going to get 7 points in their 3 games, I think the manager would have been pleased. So you have to look at it like that. Like Adam said, get back on the bus, get back to the training ground, recover tomorrow, the next day, and then get ready for the game against Manchester City.
Yeah, of course. And the fans are agreeing with both of you, especially you, Adam, in the sense of not being maybe taken at the moment as genuine title contenders, but certainly showing how good the team is. Jackie Chalk says it's mad that he's a tad disappointed to only have got a draw at Arsenal. Look at how far the team has come. We're brilliant, and I love my team. Come on, you Saints. And then we've also got a message saying it's a measure of how far the team has come. They were actually disappointed just to get a point at Arsenal. Looking ahead, guys, Adam, we've got Man City next at home. What do you rate the chances for Saints to get a result there?
Yeah, I think that's a really tough game, actually. I think there are chances for Saints against Man City. I mean, in a way, the table's a bit deceptive because Man City have actually only won 1 more game than Arsenal have this season. So it's not as if Man City are on roaring form. I think 5 wins from 12 as we speak for them. That's not the kind of standards that they set for themselves, is not, winning less than 1 in 2. And that goes to show that they have vulnerabilities as well. And I think they do. They're sort of still settling into this season. And they're a little bit inconsistent as well. You don't quite know what's going to turn up, whether it's going to be the real sort of free-flowing, attacking Man City who could, if you had a slightly bad day, could easily score 5 against you, or a sort of more stuttering Man City, a little bit more hesitant on the ball, lacking a bit of confidence, and definitely attackable in terms of their defence as well. So they're a little bit unpredictable at the moment. I think that they'll probably be smarting a bit as well at the moment. That draw with West Brom was obviously not a classic result for them. So I think it's a really hard game for Saints. Man City are absolutely packed full of quality. I think for me, them and Liverpool are streets ahead in terms of the quality they've got in the depth of their squad. There's a lot of changes that Guardiola can still make to his squad, to his team, and still field a great team of players. So it's going to be a really tough game for Saints. But I also think that Saints, I hope that they will, as we said with Arsenal before the game, they will I do hope they still will be attacking against Man City and they will play their game against Man City. I know that that's perhaps, people will say that's a dangerous thing to do, but I just don't feel the way that Saints are, they're so confident in the way that they play. I think to try and change that, even against a big team with the great players like Man City, I feel like would be a mistake and would actually potentially open you up for a worse result. So I hope Saints see it for what it is, a great opportunity. They're in a great moment, Saints. Why not try and get a really memorable win against a big club? At least give them a real hard test. Let Man City know they've been in a proper game against a really good team. And I think you do that, if you're Ralph, by sending out the best team you can to attack Man City and just see where you end up. And ultimately, if you end up on the wrong side of the result, you know what? You're still doing great. So, you can still enjoy your Christmas dinner and it doesn't matter. So that's what I think that Saints should go for it still against Man City. I see no reason to to change tack, even though I completely appreciate it's a very difficult game.
Yeah, it will be a difficult game, but City aren't ripping through teams like they have been maybe in previous seasons under Pep. They got a 1-1 draw against West Brom yesterday. Dean, is this actually a good time to be playing City?
It's hard to tell, to be honest, Steve, because is there ever a good time to play Manchester City? They're full of quality players. They really are. I mean, not just quality players, world-class players. And if they turn it on, if they combine well, then they're going to beat anyone in the world, really. So it's difficult. You're right, they're not playing the best at the moment. They're not as fluent as they normally are, and they're not scoring goals. So they're not a big threat, but they could go to any team within the division and score 4 or 5 goals. So it's going to be a real test, but they're not the best Man City team we've seen. They're not in the best form. So why not? I agree with Adam. I don't think Southampton will change anything about the way they play. It's almost a bit of a free hit. If Southampton go and give them a really, really good game. If I was the players and the managers the first thing, I would just concentrate on the performance. Let's put a really, really good, strong performance against Manchester City, play how we play, and let's see where we end up. If we end up losing 3-2, brilliant. If we win 3-2, fantastic. So there'll definitely be opportunities. I think like the game last season, when Southampton won 1-0 and Shea scored that amazing goal, McCarthy's going to have a good game. The defence is going to have a good game. And then if Southampton get chances, they'll have to take them. So it should be a really, really good game.
Great stuff. Well, thank you both, Dean and Adam, for all your insight and analysis in the final whistle. And also, thank you for helping transition this so easily for me to doing it on my own. So you've made it a breeze without Kenzie. Thank you.
Well done, Steve.
Yeah, you've done a great job, Steve. Well done.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much. I'll pay you later. Anyway, Southampton leave the Emirates with a point tonight, but they do move up to 3rd in the Premier League table. Next up is Manchester City at home. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff for that one, so it's a 1:45 show on Saturday. Have a great week, and we'll see you then.